Inshallah, we'll do a short discussion, short bayan, and then we'll proceed for dinner. Meanwhile, please make sure that your children don't go near the dangerous stuff. We do have a burner, 2 burners, and the warmer is also very hot, so just make sure that your children don't go near that stuff. And also, we should make dua that we, inshallah, get a permanent place with a permanent, good, separate kitchen, so that we don't run into those kind of issues. We can make dua, we don't have resources, but we don't know whose dua is going to be accepted, so we should start making dua, inshallah. So last week we had talked about this. We had almost completed the chapter of the virtues of love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the love of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that it is a short way of true love is a short way of getting deliverance in the hereafter. And one hadith that Hazrat has not mentioned here, or he mentioned in a different section, but I think it should be mentioned here before we move on to the next chapter. Okay, so when we talk about the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we had said that love is gauged by ita'at, love is gauged by obedience. There is one thing in between that our mashayikh teach, and which is proven from hadith. The hadith is man habba lillah wa man abghadha lillah, or kama qala alayhi salatu wassalam, man a'ta lillah wa man mana'a lillah faqad istakmala al-iman. I was trying to find this hadith somewhere in the book, but anyway, it isn't there. It is an authentic hadith, a famous hadith, that whoever loves for Allah and whoever has grudge for Allah, and whoever gives for Allah and whoever holds for Allah, they are the ones who have completed or perfected their iman. So this hadith is proof for Fanaiyat, something called Fanaiyat. Fanaiyat is the true meaning would be annihilation, but annihilation or destruction of what? So this is something that a lot of confusion has been created. The ignorant Sufis, the people who have no understanding of deen and they have no understanding of the real science of tasawwuf, they have given a totally different meaning to this, that they say that Fanaiyat or being Fana fillah or Fana fil Rasul is something that you, na'udhu billah, stay dirty, don't take care about your clothing and your appearance, and have long hair and spend your lives on the grave of someone, and that is, na'udhu billah, their Fanaiyat, and that is, na'udhu billah, what they derive out of the teachings of tasawwuf, na'udhu billah. And these people, this is a misfortune that there's in every time there is people who are honest and sincere and true, and then there is people who have no knowledge, but they only copy them, and because they do not have knowledge, they go in the wrong direction, and not only are misled themselves, but become a cause of misleading so many other people. In our countries, we see that, and we all see those examples. Na'udhu billah, only last week or the past week I heard about this, which happened in Pakistan, that there was this Peer who would treat only women, na'udhu billah, and he would do that. And when he would start his treatment, so he was starting his treatment, and at that time when he tried to do something, immodest, the women started beating him, and he had to run away. And in that running away, he fell from a second floor and broke his leg and was caught by the police. So na'udhu billah, this is not the tasawwuf, this is not Fanaiyat. Fanaiyat basically is annihilating yourself. The ayah that we recite in support of this is, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu khulu fis silmi kaffa. O people who have believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, enter Islam completely, totally. What does that mean? That enter Islam in such a way that you totally give in to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when this is Fanaiyat, then obviously without Shari'at, without following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without following the Quran, without following the Sunnah and the Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, without following the example of Sahaba, this cannot be complete. This cannot even begin. So, Fanaiyat is to give in, and to give in such a manner that when needed, Fanaiyat, an alternate term used for it is abdiyat as well. Abdiyat is also to give in to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and give in such a way that you hold no rights over your own self. That you stop to hold any right of your own self over yourself, and give in to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, Inna Allah ashtara min al-mu'minina. The more or less meaning of the ayat is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bought the lives of the believers bi anna lahumul jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bought it, and the cost that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has paid is Jannah. There is a couplet of Ghalib that Jaan di bhi to di hui usi ki thi. Jaan di bhi to di hui usi ki thi. Haq to ye hai ki haq ada na hua. Al-Hakim Rahimahullah used to say that Ghalib spent his life in sin, but if we can hope for his maghfirah, maybe because of this couplet, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put him in Jannah. It is a beautiful shade that even if we lay down our life for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who had given us this life. Anyway, so Fanaiyat is giving in is one meaning that comes to mind is that we hold no rights over our own body. So whenever there is chance, we give in, we lay down our lives in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fighting. And that is Fanaiyat, that is part of Fanaiyat. But my dear respected brothers, our mashayikh say, and this is proven from hadith as well, that living every day, living every second of your life in complete obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the real Fanaiyat. Mufti Taqi Usmani Rahimahullah has said this in a couplet that Junaid Jamshed decided, like, if you listen to him, people understand Urdu, कि वो यहाँ तो सर से पहले दिल का सौदा शर्त है यारो. यहाँ तो सर से पहले दिल का सौदा शर्त है यारो. कोई आसान है क्या सरमदो मंसूर हो जाना. These people who achieved these great stations in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they did so because they first gave their heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before giving their head to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they first gave their heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is about a sheikh, he was a pious person. Every single day he would wake up at night time and make wuzu with cold water and read the tahajjud. So for very many days this thing started to pop in his mind that I should go and fight in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and lay down my life. This is what I need to do. And he kept on thinking about it, that there is no jihad, active jihad going on in my surroundings. So where should I go, and why is this thought constantly perturbing me? Then when he thought about it, he found out that it is actually something from the shaitan. That the shaitan, or his nafs, his base self, his inner self, is having a hard time every single day getting up at night and making wuzu with cold water and leaving his bed and standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is telling him to go and die and finish it off. Go and die and finish it off. So that you don't have to go through this struggle every single day. So my dear respected brothers, I'm not saying that jihad is something inferior, na'uzubillah, no. When the time comes, we have to do it. But the thing is that to live your life, every single moment of your life in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is called Fanaiyat. And our mashayikh teach us in this way. Love, the first thing that you attain is love. And how do you attain love? Through knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, as we were talking about the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Friday's sermon today, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us, how there is innumerous blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every single moment of our life, we just don't realize it. So we talked about some of those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a system for us to have drinkable water, and we don't realize it, we constantly utilize it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created a system for us to have food. All that system is running in background. It's a huge system if you think about it, and it's a perfect system. So our science and our abilities could not have created that system, the system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. All of those things, our very life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to us. Our every single breath is coming in and going out by the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that in تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. Even if you try to count the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are not able to do it. Our Mashayikh, my Shaykh Dr. Mufti Imran Al-Qalyani said, on the opposite side, let alone you count the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you sit down and start to count how many times you have disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not be able to count it. If you try to count the disobedience that you've done to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not be able to count it. So how huge of a mercy it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He lets us live, that He lets us eat, that He lets us walk this earth, that He lets us survive in the system that He has created. Anyway, so Fanaiyat is that we give up our right. And when we have that, and that we can only do that when we have love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first thing that we have to achieve is the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not the person of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the bounties, the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done to us. And when we do that, we slowly and gradually start to give in to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We start to give up our will and we start to give in to the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when that happens, then it automatically results in ita'at, in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That with our inner self, we don't want to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anymore. It's not perfect. Of course, even the most pious people, except the Anbiya, had the urges. But those urges become very weak and very controllable. Those urges, nobody becomes an angel, but those urges of sinning and disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala become so weak that with even minimal force, with even minimal exertion, we are able to overcome them. And the strongest urges to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come from within ourselves, not from our surroundings. Our surroundings only work on what is already within us. Even the shaitan works on what is already within us. Our Mashayikh say that when Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded all the angels and the creations that were there in the sky to make sajda out of respect for Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. Iblis did not do it. Who misled Iblis? We say shaitan ne ye kara diya, shaitan ne wo kara diya. Who misled Iblis? His nafs, his inner self. So anyway, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us protection against it. This is the most perfect fanaiyat, the most perfect abdiyat or annihilation of will. We'll find the examples of that in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's some very clear examples that we all have heard when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Taif, right? I'm giving this example because everybody knows about this. Everybody has heard about it. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam traveled for, who did he travel for? The deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Was it an easy journey? No. He faced so many hardships. He had hardships back home. He went to this place and he was faced with very cruel attitude, humiliating attitude by the people that he was calling towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If those people believed in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and accepted and honored him, gave him honor, his station in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not have been elevated because of them accepting the call of Allah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? But he was only doing it for fulfilling his status as a prophet. That it was his job to do it. He was doing it only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The responsibility that had been kept on his noble shoulders by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And after being pelted with stones, he took refuge in a secure place. So from this we also understand that fanaiyat or giving in yourself does not mean that you stop caring about this world. The Prophet ﷺ did feel the pain when he was being thrown, when he was being pelted with stones. The Prophet ﷺ did use a means to secure physical protection. Na'uzu billah, if the Jahil Sufis, the ignorant Sufis of our time, they would have seen and they would have said, Na'uzu billah, that the Prophet ﷺ, in their words, by their definition, even the Prophet ﷺ did not have Fanaiyat because he was caring about his body. And these people who say that Fanaiyat is something that you should totally give up give up your sense and give up your feelings and everything. The thing is that the Prophet ﷺ actually, and at several points, the Prophet ﷺ has shown by his example, that means have to be taken, means are achieved, though that does not go against Fanaiyat or giving in. The Prophet, it is said in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the Prophet ﷺ was facing, the Prophet ﷺ went to Medina, he was facing Masjid al-Aqsa, right, to pray for the first few for the first few period of time, few days. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهَكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. We saw you lifting your eye, your gaze, your face towards the sky in expectation that we will change the Qibla from Aqsa to Kaaba. So there was this desire in the heart of the Prophet ﷺ, right? And the Prophet ﷺ, but imagine how beautifully the Prophet ﷺ is presenting his desire to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning it in the Quran that what the maximum that you are expressing it is that you will lift your gaze, you lift your face towards the sky, and we saw you lifting your face towards the sky in expectation that wahi will be coming and you will be told that you can now start facing the Kaaba. Similarly, when the Prophet ﷺ took refuge in Taif, if we read about the dua the Prophet ﷺ made, it's a big dua, but the Prophet ﷺ, the more or less meaning of that dua, Allahumma ilayka ashku dhurfa quwwati. Oh Allah, I raise with you the concern of my weakness. Wa qillata hilati, and lack of means. So what is the Prophet ﷺ talking about? All these things, means, right? But the Fanaiyat is, this is what explains Fanaiyat. That he talked about means with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He talked about his honor and him being humiliated at the hands of people. But he said, if you are pleased with me, this dua concludes with this, if you are happy with me, I do not care about anything. I do not care about anything. This is Fanaiyat. That staying within this world, we have to achieve, we have to try to get means. We will have desires, and those that are permissible, we can work for them and we can think of ways to achieve them. But we have to be ready and we have to give in to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The final decision is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It does not mean that we should not ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anything. We should definitely ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for things. The Prophet ﷺ's whole life is an example of the Prophet ﷺ. The example that I just gave, the Prophet ﷺ asked for Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu to bring faith. If the Jahil Sufi would have heard about it, what would he have said? This person, he is the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he is asking for a human. Right? So the Prophet ﷺ's famous dua that, Ya Allah, give strength to Islam through Amr bin Hasham or Umar bin Khattab, right? And Umar ibn Khattab the next day accepted Islam, entered Islam. So if the people would have heard of this time, the people who call themselves Sufi, Nauzubillah, they would have said what? This Prophet, what kind of Fanaiyat does he have? He's asking for another person to strengthen the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does he not have reliance and tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not help him directly? So my dear respected brothers, Fanaiyat, the point is that Fanaiyat means that we have desires and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those, but finally we are always ready to give in to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when it comes to disobedience, we never disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When our desires tell us to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is the point when we totally suppress and quell those feelings. And with a specific amount of practice, specific period of practice, in the beginning it is very difficult, but when we keep on doing it and we become habitual of it, 100% proven fact is that we achieve a state where these desires, these pressures from these external pressures, these internal pressures, they become very minimal. they come well under our control. Even with little effort and exertion, we are able to control those desires. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us love and all our love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever grudges that we hold, this is explained that the Sahaba, they would fight, right? They would kill people in jihad. But even in that time, they would be very conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In that time, can you imagine? You are fighting and you are going to kill a person, and even at that time, in the bloodshed, in the hot environment of battle, you are so conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, we've heard about him, right? He was about to kill a kafir, and that kafir spat on his face, and he came back. He returned. He had his sword drawn at that kafir, at that disbeliever, and he drew back and said that if I kill you now, it will be out of my anger, out of my own self, out of my own desire. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because it is not permissible to kill somebody out of your own desire. Similarly, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, we were reading in Sirat that the battle of, I think, Khandaq or Uhud. I think Khandaq. The Mubazirin, the people who come out of the army and challenge the superior warriors. Somebody from Kuffar came, and the challenger was Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. So Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu was sent forth by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to take on his challenge. So in the fight, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu struck him so hard that he fell to the ground, and whatever he was using to cover his lower self, that tore apart, or that got loose. So his sadr became open. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu did not kill him, but out of haya, we say in Urdu, sharma ke piche ho jana. He became out of, how should I say this in English anyway? He became not ashamed. Out of haya, he became shy of it. That's not the right word either. But anyway, just for the lack of a better word, he came back. He retracted. The Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba did not know about it, so they asked him that why have you come back? He said, Ya Rasulullah, his sadr opened up, so I felt shy. I came back. I withdrew. And then when he gave him a chance to cover himself up, and then he went and killed him. These were the Sahaba. This is giving in the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how the Sahaba gave in to the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us Fanaiyat and Abdiyat. This is Fanaiyat, this is Abdiyat. Not going out in jungles and deserts and mountains and treating women and those kind of things that people have, out of their personal gains, they have made this the A to Z of tasawwuf. Na'udhu billah. The real tasawwuf is to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and out of this love give into the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by giving into the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obey the commands of the Quran and Sunnah. And this is the natural way of doing it. This is how the Prophet ﷺ worked on the Sahaba. This is how the Sahaba worked on the people around him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala sayyidil mursaleen. ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا وان لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين رب اغفر وارحم وانت خير الراحمين اللهم استر عوراتنا وامن روعاتنا اللهم زدنا ولا تنقصنا اللهم اكرمنا ولا تهنا وعنا ولا تعن علينا وانصرنا ولا تنصر علينا واهدنا وارض عنا صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين امين برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. Next week inshallah this session will still be after Isha.